Welcome, second episode, Unnamed Fireman's Podcast. Today, me and Mac Daddy sit down with the captain of the DeKalb County Fire Station. DeKalb County Fire Station? Does that sound right?
Yeah, DeKalb
One of
County
the
Fire Rescue.
DeKalb County Fire Rescue. He's one of the president. He's one of the presidents of President Metro Atlanta Fools.
Yep.
Also a podcaster, the man, the myth, the legend, Payton Owen. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about everything from his personal life to what he trains on, what his niche in the fire department is, how many years he's been on. It's a great interview. Stay tuned, and here we go. So it's Payton Owens. How long you been in the fire service?
I've been in the fire service 22 years.
22 years. And, well, that's good. It looks like you had a hell of a career, right?
It's been fun so far. I've enjoyed 90% of it.
So you guys on the East Coast have sort of a different. So I'm on the West Coast, not on the West Coast, but I'm on the West Side, right? So it's a little bit different, a little more rural in my area. You guys are more in the, I would say, city. I mean, what's your kind of area? Your demographic that you guys run on?
Yeah. So where I first started volunteering is about. So there's Atlanta, Georgia's the capital of Georgia. It's Augusta is right on the line. Everybody knows the Masters. That's where Augusta is, and
That's where rich people
I
go.
twenty I 20 runs from Columbia, South Carolina, all the way out to Texas, and comes up through Augusta into Atlanta, and then out the other side over there in Alabama and all that good stuff. But I-20 is kind of the route that Sherman took his march to the sea from Atlanta to Augusta. And during that march, he burned Georgia, he burned everything down. About halfway to Augusta is Madison, Georgia, Morgan County. Exit 114, if anybody needs to know that on I-20 coming in from Atlanta or Augusta, it's mile marker 114, exit 114. And Augusta is the only town that Sherman did not completely burn down to the ground. He left a lot of things still up and standing. So they have a lot of antebellum homes from those times where most everything else was burned down and then kind of rebuilt afterwards. Still old homes, but not original. And so they have a tour of homes. That's where I was born,
Hmm.
raised, jumped around between Morgan County, Rockdale County, Newton County, Clark County, just surrounding counties there, Athens, Georgia area. Go Dogs, home of the University of Georgia. And yeah, so I started volunteering out there. Got my EMT. I'm still an EMTI. Uh, I didn't make the jump to the A back in the day when Georgia switched over to A's. They gave like a 2 week course where you could jump over. I decided not to, and I don't know that I regret it, but they have like an incentive pay where I'm at now. You get like an extra $100 a paycheck,
That's good.
but I still like being an I. I like having that old school, I 38096 is my number. It seems high, but now people are like, dang, I can't believe that's your number. Uh, kind of thing. Been in DeKalb County for 18 years working here, but rural, yes, back home. My part time job is at Walton County. It's one county closer to the city of Atlanta and DeKalb. DeKalb sits right beside Atlanta at 285, Interstate 85, 285, Highway 78, Interstate 20, all run through it. So we have the most interstate in our in the Metro Atlanta area. 270 square miles, 26 stations, about 800,000 residents, wells on your and during your business hours to about 2.5 million people coming through the county per day, coming into work, leaving work from the city.
Good Lord.
So very busy. We typically run 130, 150,000 calls a year. We average between 800 and 1,000 structure fires a year. So we stay pretty busy.
Sounds like it.
But then back home, it's completely different. We just phased out part timers volunteers about 5, 6 years ago. One man engines. We are now 2-man engines out there, and sometimes we even have 3. That
Living
is a crazy day.
Whoa.
But no
Easy,
hydrants
pal.
really out there. There's a few. We have 3,000 gallon water tenders because tankers have wings and tenders have wheels.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
Did someone say that once before?
even out here on the
He
East
was
Coast,
giving me a hard time the other day about that because we know that, but we always call him tanker for my county, and so he was giving me a hard time the other day about that.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, at the part time, that's closer to home, we do have 3,000 gallon water tenders, and all of the engines out there do carry 1,000 gallons. We're here in the city; they all carry 500 gallons. TPMs here in the city, um, pressure governors out there at
Yeah.
the little bubble. Those always trip me out.
Okay.
I
I've
don't
never
know.
seen that before.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
weird.
look, he's all high
Wow.
tech.
It's a
Dang.
high
Star
thing.
Spangled Banner stuff.
When you do stuff like that. It's crazy. It did it when my wife and I were FaceTiming one day, and she was
Wow.
like, "But yeah, so 500 gallons on the stuff here. TPMs still like our driver operators, our DOs, to be working driver operators and not just button pushers and lever pullers. So with that TPM, it does make them set it in the morning. You do have to move it up and down depending on what you're pumping. Progressive pumping, you got 1 line, 3 lines, 2.5 and 3 inch coming off to a monitor. You may have to move that TPM up. Most of our hydrants give us 150 psi coming off of it, so got good water pressure here. Pressure governors back at the part time. You don't really have to think a lot about those. It's you pull your line, you flake it out, mode preset, and you know, lines charging, and it works out there. I've been on fires where I was by myself, and I did just that, and
Works when you
I
need
went
it for
in
sure.
by myself. Went in by myself and hit the mode preset. It charged my line, and we put
Yep.
a kitchen fire out.
Well, and unfortunately, a lot of folks around the country are having to deal with that. Lack of volunteering, lack of anybody that's got any kind of work ethic. So it's hard to get people. So you're always. That's why we've gone to such a. Well, that's why we have fast food restaurants, right? It's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot. Holy cow! So you've got you. It sounds to me, and just kind of thinking about your career, it's not a normal career. I mean, you've you're working over here at however many calls, and then you're over here at so many other calls, and you're in your own county, which is crazy. I mean, just a ton. That's the life of the This is, what do you call that? This job is your life. That sounds like. So hopefully you actually get some time off once in a while.
Oh, yes. I
What?
definitely always make time for family. Um, we have a dynamic at home. It's different. We have a 22-year-old son, so um, I guess So, hey, my name's Peyton Owens. I'm 44 years old. I live in Georgia. Let me introduce myself. um, yes. So first and foremost, my wife, my family. My wife is my rock. She is my anchor. She is my absolute everything. And the life that I live is all because of her. And she challenges me, she pushes me, she motivates me. She tells me, suck it up, Buttercup. Um, she tells me, hey, it's time to no more sucking it up. It's time to move on to something else. She can tell when I've had enough, but I can't tell, and I keep trying to push through. My voice of reason, so I could go on and on about her and how much she means to me and what she's, our relationship. But we had a son, and I was 21, she was 19. I'm now 44, she's 42. Don't tell anybody I told you her age.
I'll keep it
Um,
quiet.
our son's in the Navy. May will be 3 years. He's been there. He is on the USS Baton as a ET, an electronic technician. So if he were to come out in the civilian world right now, he could be a journeyman with the IBEW. It's kind of where his job equates to now, and he loves it. Um, Daughter, 14. She is homeschooled and she dances. And when I say dance, she dances Monday through Friday. Uh, Season is August to February is practice Monday through Friday, 4 to 9, and we live 45 minutes to an hour away from the dance studio. So
Oh boy,
we leave the house around 3 o'clock, and we don't get back till 10 o'clock Monday through Friday.
she's
And
the worst.
then
She's the worst child.
yeah, um, and then Monday or March, April, May. February, March, April, May, every other weekend we have a competition somewhere that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So she does a solo, a duet, and several big production stuff. So ends up
What's
doing like 7 dances at these competitions.
what style of dance is it? Is it?
Oh, yes. So everything. So she does jazz, lyrical.
Oh wow.
She does hip hop train, but they don't compete hip hop. But all of the express yourself through movement dancing.
Pop and lock it. Gotcha.
Ballet, they are a ballet based school. So
I've never quite understood that. We had our daughter in dance years ago, and the instructor, and I don't know, it's some tradition thing. I don't know, and you probably know more of this since she's been a dance more. But I actually took her out of it because of this. But the instructor wanted us to bring flowers for the instructor after every recital. I thought
yeah,
and I was like, well, this is kind of narcissistic. So we did it a couple of times, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. If I'm going to bring anything, it's going to be for my daughter, not the damned instructor. I don't know. Anyway, but
yeah.
that's amazing. That's crazy. That's busy life right there. But so also just listening to some of your podcasts, you're quite into physical fitness too. Is that my understanding? Or
Yes.
are you just dabble?
No. So I owned a gym for 10 years. Um, that's how in depth into fitness I am. Had a nutrition business and a gym, which we sold in 2020. Literally sold it in February, and then March they shut everything down.
Oh
But
boy.
the gym survived. It's thriving. It was CrossFit Oconee. It is now called Triad Training. They do High Rocks, CrossFit, all kinds of stuff. They have a recovery bar that has cold plunges and saunas and all the Normatex squeeze your legs stuff. And I use that stuff every chance I get because we did write in the contract that I have a lifetime membership.
Oh, shut
Um,
up. That's nice.
and so it's a beautiful, beautiful gym. It's thriving. It's doing great. And yeah, I just have always been into fitness.
So with fitness, is it been a firefighter like
No,
because of firefighting, or you got into like no? It's always just been a fitness thing for you.
oh, it was a straight up self survival thing for me, and was not really into working out or fitness or anything like that growing up until I kind of this my son was born, but and I changed my whole life and mentality on life and stuff like that. But got bullied and beat up a lot growing up, the lifestyle that I lived, and picked on, and I did learn to fight. I always been a pretty good scrapper. I just didn't have the size. I think when I got my high school diploma in '99, I was a whopping 130 pounds, and
Good night.
You know, I walk around about 205 now. Depending on what's going on, I can cut down to about 195 pretty easy. I've been as heavy as 225. Was super strong then, but man, I had no cardio. I would go up a flight of stairs and have
Knuck,
to just
knuckle dragging
take
mouth breather. I
oxygen.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So I
But yeah,
graduated. I go ahead.
it did turn into a firefighter thing once I changed my lifestyle and outlook on life and mentality, and got into the service and knew that I had a life that was up to me to protect my wife and stuff. So I did get more into uh, fitness, trying to one get bigger, yes, aesthetically, because I didn't care of like aesthetically to look good, but I grew up having to read people. And if you look at all the statistics and you walk in a room and you are a bigger, muscular, more fit guy, people tend not to even mess with you at all. So
That's true. I've
I did
heard.
it for those.
Yeah. So I've heard, I walk in and I'm like, where's Peyton?
I was just gonna say, yeah, you got one more year on me on as far as life goes and fire service. Yeah. Graduated in 2000, same kind of thing. Kind of got out, just went for it. So that's crazy. Um, well, so you do a lot with a lot of training, and I guess that's really the nuts and bolts of kind of your career. And I asked, when I asked John this, if what is your niche when it comes to firefighting? Like, what's your thing? What's your go-to? Everybody's got their thing, whether it's fire behavior, fire investigation. Is it engineering? Is it what is it? What exactly
You
is
know,
your niche?
well, it's changed several times throughout my career, and for the longest time, it was hazmat. I was at our hazmat station, and I was good at it, man. Like my mentors that were there were, they helped kind of get the hazmat team up and where it is, and get it to the prestige level that it was. I mean, in the late '90s, mid thousands, 2000s, it was the go-to hazmat company to go and learn from. We do run a good amount of good hazmat calls. Now, your gas leaks and stuff like that, but we do have a fuel farm here in DeKalb, and we do have a lot of overturned tankers. Uh, I have grounded a lot of 8,000-gallon tankers that are flipped over, and put dome clamps on them and offloaded them. And I've even had one that was fully loaded and hit a car and has burst into flames and got into the storm drains. And we had fire blowing from storm drains and into the retention pond. When we pulled up, I think there was like 12 headers
Oh,
pulling up on
geez.
this thing. So hazmat was for a long time, and then where I was at, the hazmat also ran extrications, and it just seemed like we always had extrications. I really started nerding out on extrication, and that was my thing for a while. But the older I got, and the change I kind of seen in the fire service, especially in the past post COVID, I'll just say post COVID.
Sure.
Firefighter safety and survival is my niche now, my passion. I feel like there's enough extrication classes out there. There's enough hazmat classes out there, engine ops, truck ops, search, VES, all that great stuff. RIT. Go to a RIT class any weekend. But I feel like what those RIT classes lack are uh, what that firefighter needs to do prior to the RIT team being activated. And the majority of these classes is all about the RIT team being activated. What are you going to do? Soften the target. What tools are you going to bring out? What can you do to go get this firefighter? And of all the RIT classes I've been to, I won't say the scenarios are the same, but they're similar. hey, you got a down firefighter and they're in here, and you got to figure out how to go get them out. Well, who has anybody done a class on this firefighter that's down to teach him how to get himself out? And if he can't, how to clear his mind and calm down so that he can save his air or they can save their air. If they're trapped, how to communicate, because communication is going to be key there. Telling people what they need so they don't have to do 10 trips. I know, look, your life's on the line. It's hard to sit here and say, stay calm, right? But if we can teach people techniques, and there's just not many opportunities or classes out there like that. So that's what I've really focused on in the last few years. And man, I've had such a crazy last few days that I can't think of the name, but there is a gentleman out of Florida, one of our a brother. He does Mayday Mindset, and so that's one of the guys that are out there doing stuff, for firefighters and trying to teach them how to self survive and self rescue, and you know how to calm down. So we just go over several techniques. Find a wall, find a corner, put your back into it. So you have a wall on both sides subconsciously, psychologically, that calms you down because you know nothing's behind you. You know you have egress two different ways. There's going to be a door window on one of these walls. So we can go if we find one, come back, and we know we got somewhere to go. If I need to breach a wall and I can't get through this side wall, I've got this side. How to take a breath, how to lay down flat on your belly if it flashes over, and put your face piece right in that corner of the floor and the walls. And, you know, you're probably going to have a burn up back, but keep that face piece nice and safe and protected. And, at least you're alive. Things like that, just how to calm down, talk on the radio, how to look for stuff, make noise, what to ask for, blow a air horn, right? How to
Mm-hmm.
how to calm the mind down. But we go all the way back to a mayday doesn't start when you're in trouble. A mayday starts when you wake up to get out of bed to come to work.
Yeah.
We all put a mask on. If you have problems in your life, and this it goes into the mental health side of firefighting. We don't connect the two, and I think we should. I think we are lacking so bad in that department.
Yeah.
We're getting better at mental health, but then when we have these maydays and we read these NIOSH reports, and um, when somebody has a mayday, we do these case studies on them. But what we don't talk about is what were they going through before they called the mayday? Why did it take them so long to call a mayday? Because we create a culture that if you do, you're a pussy.
100%.
And we do, right? And so we put these masks on, and we have troubles with our kids, our spouse, financially, abuse, alcohol, who knows? You come in, but you wear this mask and you don't let anybody know. And maybe you're lacking in some of the stuff you're doing, or you're not as fast, or your mind's kind of elsewhere, so you fumble around. And what do firemen do when you do that? You idiot! How you can't do nothing right?
Yep.
And you just bash them, and
That's how we cope, right?
right, and then you get a house fire at 3 a.m. and this same guy that's wearing a mask can't do anything right, and he gets lost disoriented. Do you think a mayday is the first thing he's thinking of? Yeah, he's probably thinking Mayday, but
Yeah.
he's
Well,
like, I'm
It
not
ain't
doing
coming out
it.
of his mouth. Yeah,
Hell
that's for
no.
sure.
yeah,
Because if I
they
do,
already gave
what are
me
they going
shit for earlier.
to? So, man, I'm just trying to change. I'm just trying to change that, and I take a lot of shit for it. I do. The more you put yourself out there, the more you talk about this stuff. Um, People love to bring up your past, right? Whenever you get passionate about something, or
Yep.
you realize something, people love to bring up your past. And they're, oh, well, yeah, I remember one time in 2009 where you said this, and I was like,
Yep.
yeah, because in 2009 I also was young.
Yeah. I
You
was
know,
young and dumb.
I was 28 years old and didn't know any better.
Right.
And yeah, just and people like to make memes about you and say that put it on the internet and
I've heard about
send them
that.
out
Yeah,
in text messages and say
that's
you're a
interesting.
fraud and stuff like
That's
that.
interesting that you would say that.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't help it though.
Great
I think
stickers, some great stickers in the works to come out about that. So
that's awesome.
we're gonna make some
So
money for the 501c. That's a fake
the
501c.
fake one.
I love that. That was to me like, how do
Yeah.
you can't fake that? Like that, it just shit makes no sense sometimes, man. Like it's
Uh,
like, do you understand what you're saying right now? You are a moron for even putting that on there, but
so,
whatever.
we're
My
gonna sell
question
some.
is,
We're gonna sell some. We're a fake 501c3 stickers to make money,
oh
or
yeah,
we're a fraud, and
Yeah.
make money off that, and put it right towards that nonprofit. So I
Yeah, that's
appreciate it.
awesome.
Thank you.
how yeah. So I saw that and I was like, wow, okay, well, I'm not gonna have this guy on the pod. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've taken a lot of heat myself being, once you put your face out there on social media and you get a little bit of people start to like you, there's always going to be somebody that hates you, and they hate you for some dumb reason.
Well,
I'm
they hate you because people like you,
That's
and
it. That's it too.
every fireman in every department wants to be the Ray McCormick of their fire department.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
they do. They want to be that Jake fireman that everybody looks at and is like, man, that's the Ray McCormick of our department. I love you, Ray, even though you won't ever take my stickers when I try to give them to you at conferences. But uh, everybody does, and firemen, golly, man, they can be such crabs in a bucket. And I'm not doing anything to get my name out there because there's never going to be a statue of me at the DeKalb County Fire Department or in the fire service whatsoever. And so if I died right now, that bell's going to ring. Three people are going to get on that engine. They're going to go to a problem. They're going to solve it. And they're going to come back here and go back in service and repetitively do that over and over and over and over until they are no longer able to get on that truck. And then somebody else is going to do it. And so, that is the hydra of the fire department. You can cut the head off as many times as you want. Bell's going to ring. Truck's going to go
Yep.
in
We're
the
all gonna
store.
do. We're gonna do the same damn job when we get there. Yeah. No, I hear you.
Now, how we do leave our mark is just like our family, right? So you have kids, you raise kids to your morals, ethics, values, and then they grow up and they instill those morals, ethics, and values around people around them and their kids, your grandkids, and then your great grandkids. And that's how family names are made or how family reputations are made. Same thing in the fire service. I get a rookie, they come in, I love on them. I, rough them up a little bit, and then wipe the dirt off their face, and
Hmm.
I instill those morals, ethics, and values in them, and those work ethic in them, and then they grow up to be officers, and they do the same thing. And so, in 20 years, nobody's going to know who I am, but my legacy will live on um, because of my passion for training and how much I believe in everything around me. I have instilled in some of my younger guys who are extremely passionate about it as well. And they're going to go on to make somebody else passionate and somebody else passionate. It's a
Yeah.
pyramid scheme. That's all.
Yeah. 100%.
And you
Well,
just hope
that's
you're at the good part of that and they follow
yes.
those and not the dirt bag. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. We talked about this last time. It's like, hold on one second. I'm so sorry.
The bell rang. It's got to go solve a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. I have a
Problem solved, back to service.
yeah. I have a fan that is driving me crazy, and I was worried that other people can hear it, but it's just me. I think it's
No, I had
fake.
no idea that it was you had a
Yeah,
Yeah.
fan.
I
I
can't
know.
hear it.
I know. I can, and it's like I can't even talk. It just bothers me so bad. Anyway, it's off now. It's not a problem. I'm not crazy. You guys are. Okay. So talking about that, we talked about like who's you get these bad eggs in the fire department, and to me, you get these people, these folks that are, they're a lot of them. See, I always think of like you have these high performers, yet not trustworthy, you know? And I'm sure you've seen these not, that's who you end up hiring is always the high performers in the business, right? Any business, you buy high performer, high performer. Most of the time, you can't trust those people. They're just not trustworthy people. So you want to make, like the way I've always tried for the last 5 years to hire folks is generally that middle of the ground person that can be high performer when needed to be and trustworthy when needed to be. So I think that falls into that, like, you're talking about the meme that came out about you that was, obviously fake, I, when I saw that, I thought to myself, this is a joke, right? Like this guy's joking about, like, this has got to be a joke. He's so many things. Obviously somebody's got the goat for you, but I always attribute, like, you always have these. Who is your worst firefighter that you have to deal with? And I usually have a year span. It's usually that 3, 4, 5 year firefighter that you have to deal with that thinks they can run the department yet doesn't know enough to run the department. What is your person that you deal with the worst in the fire department? If you don't mind saying, you don't have to say if you don't want to.
Yeah, so that 7 to 10 year firefighter is always rough. You know, raising two kids, a grown kid and one that's about to go into high school, finishing up her eighth grade career. For kindergarten through fifth grade was great. I mean, wonderful. We had zero issues. Ninth grade through 12th grade with the son, perfect, no issues. It was great. We loved it. Anticipate everything's going to go well with the daughter in high school. Uh, got a great head on her shoulders, very well behaved, focused on certain things. Um, but sixth grade, we saw a change in both of those little assholes. Those little, those little crotch goblins. Um, we saw a change in them in seventh grade. My son and I were not friends. We did not get along seventh and eighth grade. Then ninth grade rolled around, it got a little better, and then by 10 and 11, we were on board again. But 12th grade, we were best friends, man. It was just took them some time to see. But that 7 to 10 year firefighter, I attribute to kids in middle school.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a
They're
good.
no
That's a really
longer in
good.
the little stuff. They think they know what's going on up here in the
Mm-hmm.
in the high school, but they don't. Um, they just they're testing their boundaries, I'm grown, but I'm not grown kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so 7 to 10 year firefighters like that. And I will be the first to tell you that that was me, like year 8, that was me. Like you couldn't tell me, like I already knew I could do everything in the department. I could ride seat, I could drive, I had my tiller. There was not an apparatus in this county that I could not operate efficiently and effectively and do a damn good job on it. I'd only been at two houses, just very well known, high performing houses. I never had a shitty crew. It's always been high performers around me, so I knew it all. And I see a lot of that 7 to 10 year firefighter kind of the same way. Um, they think they're there, that they know everything, got people under them. The guys that's usually 15, 20 years over them, they're like, I don't feel like dealing with you, just whatever, you go handle it. So they kind of have free reign to act
That's
any way they want to.
Yeah. That's it
And
too. That
so,
you allow it. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's what I see. Those are tough. Now they're moldable, some of them. Um, so those are
Oop, think I lost you there.
We lost your.
We lost your sound there. Yeah. Yeah. Turn it sideways. That'll help. Nope. Now you're muted.
yeah. So my wife tried to call me, so it bumped
Ah,
y'all out.
Uh,
Um,
all good.
Yeah, so those 17-year firefighters are the hardest, but the ones that bother me the most and the hardest ones in the fire service that I would love to just push out are the ones that I get a text message from my wife that said, I don't know if you know this, but I all caps, I am the number one priority. Um, and so the guys that just wear the shirt, like they got the job for whatever reason. They barely made it through recruit school, and then they wiggled themselves to a house that is slow and kind of left alone and forgotten about, and they just show up every third day and just pray to God that they don't have to do anything in the limelight.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that bother me. Those are the ones that 5, 6 years in, and you go there and you say, "Hey, what kind of nozzle do you have on your truck?" "Oh, I don't know." How long are your crosslays? 37 feet. How many
Okay.
GPMs? How many GPMs come out of your orange line? I don't know. Did y'all already switch over to the 15, 16 tips, or are y'all still running the 1 inch? I didn't know we were even talking about switching.
Hmm.
Well, you've already switched over because we switched everybody. Do you know? Do you need to pump that more or less?
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
No,
Drive those are
I
the
think
ones
you're
that
hitting it.
drive.
I think we're on the same page with that. Ours usually in our area are that 3 to 4 year firefighter. They've come out of the academy. Somehow I don't know. Are you guys union in your area? I asked.
So I am the
You are
vice
union?
president of our union. I only handle health and safety because I don't do politics. So we split our VPs into two people.
Ah.
Um, Now that being said, we do not have a contract. There's only
Hmm.
Atlanta has a CBA that Atlanta's not honoring. Athens Clark County just got theirs last year, and then South Fulton has a CBA in place. So we are working to get ours. We have a new CEO, so
Well,
trying.
that's I'm and you like us. I'm not a fan. I'm not a union guy. Never been a part of them, but we currently just got one. We finally got one. So and they pushed for it. We're working on the contract right now, but yeah, it's interesting. I wasn't sure because it's kind of a different dynamic in different areas. Like people, and I see that, and I only bring that up because I feel like the 4 and 5 or 7 and 8 year firefighters, I don't know what it is. They get this click in their head that they have to be a union firefighter. Like if I'm not a union firefighter, I'm not a real firefighter. Like, what are you talking about? You've been a firefighter for 8 years. Like, I don't understand just because you pay $60 a month to somebody to give you a T-shirt. Yeah. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know. You could be totally different on it, but and there's a lot more to the union. I'm not saying there's not a lot of help with the union, but in our area, it's been one of those situations where they paid so much money a month for not a lot of good for them. So hopefully it'll work itself out in the future, but not so much right now. So it is a different dynamic because I know John is not union, right?
No.
No, so you're not union, but you're union, and then I know you get just kind of spotty in your guys' area of who's union and who's not. But you go to like
Yeah,
California and they're all union, or you go to New York, they're all union. So like it's really different in different places for sure.
it's
But
just a Republican. I mean, it's been a red state for quite some time. I know. Get into the whole politic thing. Well, it's purple now. Okay, well, I'm not going down that road, but
right,
we are a right to work state, and what that does mean, it doesn't mean that unions don't have any kind of say so. What it does mean is that corporations can corporations can come in and say, we're not going to talk to you at all.
yeah,
It's just that simple. Whereas up north, they don't have a choice.
sure,
So, but if somebody forms a union, and I know there's been some stuff in the news, a fire department forms a union and 70% of the people join it, then kind of hard not to listen to that, right?
sure,
And so I agree with you. I don't like a lot of the IAFF stuff. It's a bit too on the safety side of things, too much of
Mm-hmm.
me over them stuff that I
Yeah.
don't like. I wish that we could form a group that's nothing more than a group that says we speak for everyone in this department, and it's just about better wages, better pay, better benefits, and a healthier work environment. Healthier as in, you know, if I got mold growing on my tiles, just come change my damn tiles
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. Well,
You
and I
know,
think I think it, with my experience, I guess, when I volunteered years ago, it seemed like our association we were able to get more done and get better a better environment for the firefighter, whether it be safety or tactics or anything. Because in that association we could talk about everything, which was great. And no, it's not like they were the overall seer of things, but they were able to bring suggestions to the chief, which was great. So I think the volunteer association really worked a lot better than this current union thing, and I do think that they learned a lot when they joined the union, and they realized where most of their monies went for politics. They were pretty disappointed in that, but they
well, I will say on that for the union, it is illegal for any money to go towards any kind of campaign or politic. You do have to. Uh, they cannot use them any dues money for that. It has to go into a PAC.
yeah,
And that's the only way they can use the money.
yeah.
You have to donate to a PAC. Any of your dues, 60, 40, whatever they are, none of
Mhm.
that goes towards any political candidacy
See,
whatsoever.
and this is why I don't like union. No, I'm just kidding. No, no, I don't know enough about it. I'm learning. I'm learning every time they bring me an article. I'm like, why do we even need to talk about this? So
Now they
I'm
have done
learning.
a ton for the cancer initiatives that we have in the fire service,
The
and
PFAS
even
and
the mental
yeah,
health. They have a center of excellence on the East Coast, and they're actually building one out there on the West Coast in California. What an amazing place that you can go to help with PTSI. I don't like to call it a disorder. It's a post traumatic stress incident or incidents.
sure,
It can be compounding, but it's not a disorder, and any addiction stuff like that. And then the cancer initiatives we have, um, line of duty cancer deaths are only a thing because of the IAFF. Um, they wouldn't even be considering a cancer death in the fire service a line of duty death if it were not for the initiatives that they've done. So there's goods and bads with everything,
no,
right?
100%, 100%.
Uh, you just
I'm
have
not.
to
I'm
put
definitely not
stuff on your
disagreeing with you.
scale and
I
put stuff on your scale and see. There's stuff they do. I hate. Hate it.
sure,
Like we got the. I wrote a grant. We got the IFF Peer Fitness Trainers going to come here and make 78 of our uh, people in our department peer fitness trainers. Great initiative. However, I'm like, all right, super easy. We got this brand new station. It's 3 bays. We can go in there. Plenty of room to do everything. Nope. Diesel exhaust, cancer. No, can't do it. It has
Hmm.
been a nightmare trying to find somewhere to host this thing because they're so specific about what they want and need and where it will be and stuff like that. So, again, things I hate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh, the whole, well, it's break time, union break.
yeah,
Man, come on, let's just get this shit done.
yeah. I hear you. Okay, so you are one of let's see, you're in quite a few organizations. You're in the oh my god, my head just went blank. Atlanta Atlanta Fools. Oh,
Yep.
I'm
So Metro
totally
Atlanta Schools.
yeah, Metro Atlanta Fools. That's what I said. So what what is your role in that? What is your take in that? Like I know John's told me quite a bit about it, and that you're pretty good. You're pretty big into that. Like, what's your if you want to explain any of that?
Yeah. So, with the union getting into the health and safety role and starting to help a few firefighters that needed help. It was we had a firefighter wreck and got paralyzed from chest down, and then we had a firefighter who had cancer, and we had a firefighter who got shot, and just doing fundraisers for all of them. It's great. We helped, we raised money, we did all this stuff, but what I found was people start getting compassion fatigue, and you can only ask this little area for so much help, right? And so I wanted to do something different. It's like, what if we do some training? What if we do training and people pay $30 to come in and do the training? We can give that money. And where we were in the union at the time, we couldn't. And so I was like, man, I really want to do something that trains, puts more training out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, the fools are all about it. It's been around here forever. Then we just got to get something back up and going. And so there was a chapter here, Metro Atlanta Fools. It's kind of been dormant since 2014-ish, 13. So it's just kind of been sitting there dormant. And when I called the International and emailed them to get one up and going, and started kind of telling them the history of the Fools in Georgia, they started pulling some records and saw that and was like, do you want to get Metro Atlanta back up and running? I was like, absolutely. And so originally it was one of our firefighters at DeKalb County brought it in 2000, ran it until 2006, where he tragically died in the line of duty.
Mm.
And from there, it changed. E-board changed several times. 2008 happened. That lasted for 4 or 5 years, and then just by the time 13 rolled around and people started bouncing back from that, they just didn't have it in them, and so it
Sure.
just laid there dormant. And so post COVID, starting to get back on our feet, wanted to do some training. I think it was a void that people really, really wanted to fill, and so that's kind of what we did. We turned it into. They highly suggest you turn it into a nonprofit, and so that's what we did. Raised some money here and there, and went to another state
Is
and
that a real
donated 13.
is that a real nonprofit or
Um,
just kidding? Just kidding.
Poking that bear,
Uh,
baby.
I don't know. You can ask. You
could
can ask
be.
Marcelo Garcia's wife, or his wife and mother and sister,
Okay.
out in Houston, Texas. Who he died in the line of duty tragically out there, and we saw it online. And I was like, man, look, we got this platform that's just like GoFundMe. So I put it out there. People started donating. I actually had some of his cousins call me and threaten me because they were like, "How dare you? I don't. Are you sure you're real?" And I was like,
Oh
"I
wow.
promise." Talked to one of your battalion chiefs before we did anything. I had 3 or 4 chiefs out there give us the go ahead. But we ended up raising $13,000. Myself and another member, trustee on the e board, went out there, sat in her kitchen, um, broke bread with her, talked with her, and handed her that check, and shared tears with her. And it was great to be able to do that. However, what I didn't realize at the time is our name is Metro Atlanta Fools. You put that on the internet and you're in Houston, Texas.
Oh
Doesn't matter how well you're doing for a brother or a sister, you're in somebody else's territory.
yeah, true. Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
so from there, Brothers Serving Brothers was born. So instead of Metro Atlanta Fools raising money and going out and delivering money, Brothers Serving Brothers does that. And, that's something that we're going to continue to try to grow and push. And so, you talking about lots of hats. So, vice president of our union, president of the Metro Atlanta Fools, and founder of Brothers Serving Brothers. It's a fundraising platform. And to date, I consider Marcelo Garcia one of those that we helped, but the 3 firefighters got burned in Houston. We made challenge coins and sold for them, raised them some money.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
Um,
how exactly you're raising that money. Is it you say it's challenge coins? What other kind of
Yeah.
activities are you guys doing to raise that money?
so right now it's just a donation link, right? So GoFundMe charges 4.5% off from your total, and 3 cents for every transaction that comes through. So that
Okay.
adds up, right? You raise $10,000. Let's say on average, out of that $10,000, it was 100 transactions, 3 cents. So adds up, right?
Yeah.
And so our platform allows us to create a link just like GoFundMe. There you can write stuff, you can leave a message, you can be anonymous. Just looks a little different,
Yeah.
and we don't charge any fees. So all of the money that comes in donation wise goes right to that person we're doing the fundraiser for.
Is
And
there
doing
any?
that,
Yeah. Go ahead.
well, and in doing that too, I talked about compassion fatigue earlier. People,
Mhm.
we're all human, and we kind of everybody. People don't mind giving for the most part, but people want to be recognized or have something given back. And so I
Sure.
was like, challenge coins. What if we do a challenge coin where our logo on one side and whatever we come up with them on the other side? And so we've just been making for every fundraiser we do 50 challenge coins, and we've played around with those price points, seeing what people will and won't pay. We started at 100. We tried 50, then 75. I found the 100's nice. I wish we could sell 50 of them at $100. Um, but $25, people really, really don't mind spending $25 and getting that coin. So,
No, that's good. So, and I'll be posting all these links of the things you're talking about in the comments on Spotify and every other place. So that's as far as calling those out. I'll get those links and get those
Yeah,
in the comments.
we'll get the QR. I've got the QR code, so we'll get the QR codes
Perfect.
to do that as well.
So with that, let's we're talking about you're helping people, and which is amazing. What is there a certain level of tragedy that you guys are only looking for to help out with, or is it just kind of anything that someone comes to you and says, "Hey, uh, this brother over here is having issues." I mean, I'm just trying to get an understanding. I don't want someone being like, "Oh, hey, I can't pay my rent," like or whatever it is.
so my heart's too big sometimes. And yes, I want to help every firefighter that comes and says, hey, man, I just can't afford to pay my light bill this month. I can't afford this. I want to help, but a lot of times that's the, the money to pay the light bill is not what that person needs.
No,
There's something deeper going on there. And I have to remember that and look back on uh, the people I knew growing up and how they were always broke. Well, why were they always broke? Because their priorities were not in the right place of
right,
where their money was going. And I'm not saying people are addicted but their priorities aren't right and their money's not going to the right spot. And I know they say, well, I am. I equate it to this. I had a nutrition business like I talked about, and people would come and be like, Peyton, I'm just not losing weight. It's been 4 weeks. I'm like, all right, well, let me see your nutrition log. I'd have them log all their food, and I'd look and like, well, you're not logging your food. How do I know what you're eating? Well, I mean, it's good stuff. I ate a salad from Zaxby's this day, and I didn't eat anything at all, like 2 Tic Tacs this other day, and I was like, that's nothing
that's
about what we talked about, right?
that's not how
And
it works.
so, exactly. So it's one of those things where, yeah, you're not losing weight because you're not doing what you're supposed to. I can't afford my light bill. Maybe you are trying. I'll be happy to listen to your story, but I am going to investigate your story. I'm
Yeah,
just not just going to listen to it.
yeah,
But for the most part, line of duty deaths always.
yeah.
We always want to help that. Tragedies, somebody being hurt, out of work and can't work their part time. Um, Cancer, we're seeing cancer, mental health problems, really the big stuff when tragedy strikes. That's really what we want to be there for. Now, that being said, if you call me and you tell me that you can't pay your light bill, we're going to have several conversations, and I'm going to talk to some people and say, hey, what's going on in Billy's life? Why do you feel like you're going to have to give me 3 people that you know and let me talk to you? And why can't Billy? Well, he just really loves stickers, man. He buys $1,000 worth of stickers every week. We can't make him stop. Well, maybe your priorities aren't in the right place, Billy.
He better get some glow in the dark ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
So
Well, so there is a boundary, is what I guess
yeah,
so that's good to
yeah,
know.
we
I
gotta
mean,
have the boundary. I don't
yeah.
want one, but
Well, you have
there's
to. I mean,
continuity in the fire service as well, right?
I see, and I have issues with certain benevolent funds, and not in the fact that. So a lot of departments have sort of, and I don't know if you guys do, but ours has a benevolence fund, and it's for that sort of stuff. It's for that little stuff that, hey, you know, Johnny can't make this payment, or Johnny's grandmother died, and it's usually for the big stuff, like, the grandmom dies, or someone dies, or whatever. But the process to get that money is that, that person has to apply for that money, which I was like, that's not how we originally developed this program. This program was to help them out. The program was to say, I see that Johnny's having issues. Let me let me let me help Johnny out with maybe this money. I'll get some folks together. We'll decide on what we can help pay for, and then help Johnny out. But it's turned into this process of they've got to apply for the money to help them out, and then they've got to meet with, it's like 4 of their peers, the chief and a board member, and now it's like, now their life is out in the open to everybody on the department now. It's like, holy shit, that's not what we designed this for. So I see. I don't. Do you guys have like little benevolence funds within your departments like that?
We don't know. It's something we've talked about with the union, starting one for members. Uh, but and honestly, that's kind of brothers serving brothers started off as the idea as a benevolent fund for stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is all the phone calls we were getting, text DMs from people, where I just kind of had to be like, all right, we've got to relook at this, because people will be like, hey man, I just, trying so hard, child support and this, that, the other. And I think I'm one of the few firemen that's not on my second or third wife and pay child support. But
It's
it's
meaning it's tough to do though. I know it's a struggle.
yeah.
I've been
And look, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, I just
John.
I have these I have
I
these
don't know.
people that reach out, and then like I said, I'm going to investigate, and then I find out that you just went and bought a new Ram 3500 that's jacked up and got all these bells and whistles on it, and your truck payment is $1,400 a month.
Yeah, and,
You
and I'm
know,
with you. I'm
brother, I
100%
can't
with you
help
on
you.
that for sure.
I can't help you. Like, my son has been in the Navy 3 years, and he is flying home on May 18th to buy a vehicle because he makes $30,000 a year. He gets up at 3 a.m. every morning and calls an Uber, or gets an Uber and has them pick up and take him so he can be at drill by 6.
Damn.
We have the money to buy him a vehicle, but I'm not going to. What's
Right.
that teaching? Like that, like we want him to understand the value of a dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And he does now. And of course, when he comes back, we're going to heavily help him with this vehicle. But if we just bought him the vehicle when he first got to Norfolk, all right, now
Right.
he's got to be. What's he do with his money?
Yeah.
OnlyFans? I mean,
I mean, there's options. You know what
lower.
I'm saying?
So it's just one of those things. Like, now he understands the value of the dollar, and he saves every penny now, and it taught him something. So yeah, benevolent funds are good. You just got to be careful, I guess. And I just don't have the bandwidth
Well,
to
and generally,
do all that.
ours has always been within the department, so it's very small as far as that goes. But it just had turned into, and I guess what I was trying to get there was, how do you guys make that decision of within, with these big, like, hey, I see the Houston firefighters are having issues. Is somebody reaching out to you guys and saying, "Hey, I think you guys could really help," or is it you
Yeah,
guys jumping out being like, "Hey, I think we could help"? How does that process work?
it's both.
Yeah,
It's so I will obviously we see stuff on the internet. People see our stuff, and I get um, people slide into the DMs all the time. It's like, hey, I got a firefighter who's got cancer. It's how we found out about Luke Turpin up in Indiana.
hmm,
Somebody had reached out to somebody else, and they started making stickers. Who's in our small business group. And from there, I was like, "Oh, do they need?" He was like, "Hey, would y'all buy some of these stickers for $2?" I was like, do we need to start a fund? Do we need to start a fundraiser for them? They're like, yeah, shoot, why not? And so, like, one thing we did for them a little different is for 14 days, we door dashed food to their house that was there at 5 o'clock every day. So I would, in our little group, I'd, hey, who wants to do it today? And they would, I had them write me out restaurants for 14 days, and we got with them. And so that's one less thing they had to worry about.
sure.
Because talking with them, one of the hard things is like, well, you do this, you do that. The kids have this, other kids have this, and we got to go to this doctor and that doctor. And by the time you get home, it's like, what do you want to eat? I don't know. I'm so tired. Go make a sandwich or this, that, the other. So
Hmm.
we just tried to help out that way.
So you're not only just helping out with just the financial aspect, you're actually helping out with the home life too. So what you're trying to say,
We
basically.
try, and
Yeah.
it's situational. That was
Yeah.
just where they were at the time.
Sure.
One thing we did for Elsa, she's a young 15-year-old girl who has terminal cancer. And, her dad's a firefighter in Indiana, mom's a teacher. And so once they found out it was terminal, they decided they're going on FMLA. They're going to be with Elsa, and all they're going to do is make memories, spend every last second with her, which is what we all would do with our child,
Yeah.
right?
Good Lord.
And so she had so much help already, and there was so much outpouring stuff. One thing we did for them that was a little different, we found out they were going to Chicago. Um, and so I got a friend up there in Chicago. I said, "Hey, can you help me out?" He hooked me up with a battalion chief. We knew the hotel and the time they were going to be there. So I talked to this battalion chief and another firefighter up there, and they were sitting there waiting on Elsa. Had a whole battalion out there on the street, lights on. They got with the hotel, made a line coming from where the cars parked into the hotel, and everybody gave her a rose. All the firefighters did and stuff, and the hotel staff. And all gave her a rose and just made her the queen of the day. And we sent a gift card for $250 to allow them to go out to eat that night, and let her buy. I'm sure that was like a little burger place in Chicago. You know, 4 or 5 people to eat, but just little things like that. So it's not always fundraisers.
Yeah.
It.
Well, that's amazing. I don't know how you could make this any more sad. Thanks, guy. No, I mean that is amazing. I mean, you guys are really putting it out there, which is amazing. So, like I said, I'll have all the links for everything you got in the comments. Anything?
Allegedly, we had to say allegedly because apparently I'm a fraud. So
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and
all this is a lie.
I told John that we should probably have that guy on. I don't know who he is. I don't know if I don't know if you guys know who he is.
I have zero clue. All I know
Okay.
is they made that meme and found phone numbers to people in my department. Maybe it's somebody in my department, and started texting it anonymously from
Mm,
like a bot where you can't trace the number back or call it back or something like
mm,
that. So
Like a
now
dang.
spoof
that being
number.
said, I've been in I've had several businesses where we've used mass texting before, and none of that stuff's free. So not only did they put a lot of thought into the meme, I'm pretty sure they spent some of their own money to do that for me. Honestly, I can't even be mad. Like
Yeah, you're on the
Rent
I'm gonna
free,
spotlight.
make
baby.
stickers. We're gonna make stickers and sell the stickers to our fraudulent 501c.
I love it.
I'm gonna keep spewing my fraudulent message of brotherhood out there
Yeah,
um,
I
that
would.
I in fact do not protect. But yeah, man, it's great. You know, now I know why celebrities don't care when bad press gets put out there about them.
Right.
It's true. It's true. I got a sex tape out there somewhere. I think. I don't know. Um,
Maybe I could do that next.
there you go. There you go. It works sometimes. So you, like I said, I was telling John we should have that guy on the podcast, and I'll just roast him the whole time. That'd be great. And if you guys can figure
Yeah,
out
it'd
who
be
it was,
tons of fun.
just bring him on the podcast and act like we want to know, and then just hammer him. Anyway, we don't have to do that. We can do that though.
No, I would love to do that.
So you do a lot of training. You do a lot of training for other departments too, and that training is through Metro Atlanta Fools, or what's your deal there as far as a part of that?
Yeah, so it's been through Metro Atlanta Fools, and we will continue if there's any member of the Metro Atlanta Fools organization that
Mm-hmm.
wants us to come to their fire department and do some training. We will continue to do that. What I won't do is go to a department that's in another Fools territory, and we've been clear about that since day one.
Sure.
And do training. Like I won't go over to 575s or Terminus area without telling them.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody called me from that area and said, "Hey, I am going to reach out to 575 and say, hey, we're coming over there. Would you guys like to joint do this?" But I would like to just keep Metro Atlanta full stuff in the Metro Atlanta Fools territory. And
You don't want.
anything outside of that will still be training, but it's going to be through Old School Fire Training LLC.
Mm-hmm.
That is a legit training service. It's got its own LLC. You can go into the Georgia Secretary of State and find our name on there. So it is not fraudulent. Along with Brothers Serving Brothers will be, anything outside of that Metro Atlanta area.
Yeah.
Now I have no problem coming to any other Fool's territory as Old School Training LLC or Brothers Serving Brothers and doing training there.
Yeah. How widespread is Brothers Serving Brothers, and also the other old school firefighting? How widespread? Nationwide? What are we looking like? How
Yes, I
far?
hope so. So far I have been privileged enough to in just a short span teach at Joey D in Houston, FDIC, this past FDIC, Massey coming up. We're doing a class at Massey this year, and just went through a DoD class called FRAS, Firefighter Rescue and Survival. No slack. It is the DoD's version of a smoke diver course. It's 50 hours. You show up there 10 hours a day, P10, going through drills nonstop. I
Mm-hmm.
think I went through a total of like 40 bottles or something like that through the week of
Oof.
just constantly having your gear on. My
That
knees
looks.
still have calluses on them.
I was gonna say.
So I'm going back and going to teach at that and at Dobbins in September and Camp Lejeune in September.
Hmm.
So yeah, I hope nationwide. We during FDIC, I did a lot of networking
Mm-hmm.
and shared my class with a brother that I was just talking with, and he was like, "Hey, I do stuff with Fire Nuggets and help put together the Fire Nuggets conference out there on the East Coast. Would you be willing to come do your lecture there?" Absolutely. So we've been invited to Fire Nuggets to do that. And then there's a local conference that just picked up our class, so we're going to go and do our lecture. So the lecture is called "Who's Ruining the Fire Service?" You are. And I may end up changing the name to Fraud and let the meme be like the poster of the class. I'm serious. Like,
Hey,
so I actually have already added that meme into our PowerPoint for that 2 hour lecture. I've
so
already got it in there and talk about it and stuff like that. So
that lecture is a 2 hour lecture, that in particular?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that 2 hour lecture is just about the brotherhood. And I also use it in our firefighter, a portion of it in our firefighter rescue survival mindset class. And so that lecture is, I don't want to say talks about me, but for the first 30 minutes, it's talking about me. And it all leads up to my experience in the fire service, my life, what I've been through to get here. Thought I had made it once I made the fire service. I, was no longer a statistic. I had broken the cycle. Um, and then I coasted for 10 years, and then the fire service let me down. We had a tragedy strike in my family, and 4 weeks no one called me to check on me. And the
Wow.
first phone call I got was from my station officer. And guess what? I picked up the phone and said, "Hello, what do you think the next words were?"
When you coming? When you coming in?
Oh, man, everybody gets that right every time. No one's ever got it wrong. When
Mm-hmm.
are you coming back? That was middle of March in 2017,
Mm.
spring break, summer vacation, stuff like that. So he wanted to know when I was coming back so that they could do vacations.
So they
I
could do
said,
it. Yeah.
figure that shit out. And so, one, that's illegal. Just for people out there, if you're an officer or anything, if someone's on FMLA, you cannot legally call them and ask them when they're coming back to work.
No.
And so, to keep people safe, do not call someone on FMLA and ask them when they're coming back. They may not be as generous as me and may not report you. Um, but yeah, man, it broke me. I broke down in tears just because I thought I had made it and was a part of something better, different than everything I experienced in my life. And it let me down. It broke me.
Yeah.
And I was out of the fire service for 7 months. I froze all my pension stuff and I resigned from my department altogether and sat at home. I took care of my wife. I took care of my kids. And I took care of myself during that time. Did a lot of reflection, did a lot of mental clarity, and decided to come back. Lots of prayer, lots of talking with my wife. But the main thing that brought me back was I never wanted anyone to experience what I experienced with the lack of brotherhood, with a lack of someone not caring, a lack of no one calling and checking on you. And so I try to be that person now. People slip through the cracks, but I do have a lot more resources I reach out to. We have a peer support team. I lean heavily on them to update me when somebody's, and I'm not on the peer support team, but um, I rely on them to hey, let me know if somebody's out. Let me just call them. Or if I hear, I'll call them and say, has anybody checked on this person? No, I don't think we have. Okay. Hey, let me check on them. Will y'all call and check on them? So I just try to be that person, try to really preach the brotherhood because, man, I know y'all two hear it. Brotherhood's dead. It ain't there no more. This guy over here ruined it. That guy ruined it. That guy ruined it. I didn't ruin it. Not me. Wasn't me. Bullshit. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You ruined it. All three of us sitting right here ruined it. But we did. All three of us have heard a rumor and went and told somebody else that rumor. That's ruining the fire service. We've all come in mad and disgruntled and not want to do something and argued with an officer or a chief and bitched about it to everybody around us. That's ruining the brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're somebody on your crew's like, man, let's all go hang out next weekend. We're all off, and you come up with some excuse. It's too far to drive. I don't want. You're ruining the fire service. You're ruining the brotherhood. So it's all up to us. But
Yeah.
that's kind of that's what my lecture's on.
So, do you have for folks like me that are just not in your area and probably don't want to incur the cost of flying you out to where I am? Do you have something online as far as your lecture being as a videoed? Is it something that I could get a hold of? I'd love to,
Yeah.
or I
Soon. But
I'd fly you out
right
here.
now, I want the people who can afford to fly me out
Ah,
let me do my
okay. So
lecture.
it's
I'm
only
not
in
getting
person, and
free
that's
online
okay.
yet.
That's okay. I just wasn't sure if it was real or not, but I just wanted to make sure. That's all I'm saying.
It is
Um,
not. It is all very. I'm not even sitting here right now.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
he's AI.
This is
Yeah,
AI generated.
AI
You guys are
generation.
controlling everything I say and do.
What's sad is that I've seen videos. That shit can actually happen, which is crazy to me. But so it sounds like a really good course that I do think that as you're sitting here talking, I'm like burning it, like just going through things in my head going, he's right. He's right. I don't know. Maybe he's right. And I do this every 2 years to myself. I'm like, it's my fault. It's like I'm not doing what I should be doing. I could be doing better as an officer or as a brother to these people. Like I really could be doing better. Always could be doing better. And I fail all the time. And the problem with it is I'm sitting at my desk and I'm doing time cards or I'm doing, paperwork or bullshit. And I'm that guy. I'm the guy. So, and I reflect on it every couple of years. I'm like, son of a bitch. Somebody calls me out and they're like, you could have came out there and trained with us. Or somebody hits me up like 5 days later and it's like, hey, did you know that yada is in the hospital? I'm like, fuck, I didn't know. Or this guy's wife's got cancer. I'm like, I had no idea. Nobody
It's
told
hard.
me.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up on it, and you guys have bigger areas than I do. But geez, Louise, it's hard to keep track, and then it's also hard to like you say, it's my fault for not being engaged with those people too. Uh, each shift that comes on, I should be better. I should know their kids' names. I should, when I first joined when I first became an officer, my chief at the time was, he was like, hey, one thing I do to keep kind of grounded with everybody is I learn the kids' names. I try to learn their birthdays. I try to remember those little things so that, I try to ingrain those little things in my head so that when we're talking about personal life, I can really engage with somebody. I thought, God, that's really a great. And I tried it, and I lost it. So I was one of those guys that just lost it. I still to this day probably only know half of their names. I mean, I need to do better for sure. All right, stop yelling at me. But no, it sounds like a really good course that I would love to get. I'd love to get a hold of that, pal. Drop me some numbers
Yeah,
and we'll see what it costs to get you out here.
I got a few. I got a few things lined up this year, and I'm gonna go and do those live. But yeah, we will film them and end up putting them out there. I mean, it's yes, do I want you to fly me out and let me do it live? Yeah, but if it can help someone, I want it to. But just something we're going to get around to and do and
Yeah.
make it nice and presentable.
Well, make it nice and presentable and tell me what the price is, and I'll pay for it. Sounds like a good course. So
I'll
what?
just put it on YouTube free.
No, I don't like that. You got to make a profit, pal. What's the matter with you? You don't have a 501c3, so you got to make a profit. It's got to go in your pocket. So well, that's awesome. So what else? What else you got as far as like you got brothers helping brothers. I'm sorry, you called it the fire. Oh my gosh,
Old
you're
school fire training.
old school fire training. Yeah, that's kind of what it is, right? Is there in that Metro Atlanta Fools where you do a lot of the trainings? Are you sticking to the mental health and the self survival skills with that, or are you training? Are you going outside of that? Are you training anything more on that?
Yeah, so we do an engine ops class we just did last month where we really do and we run flat loads in my department. But we do have three modified Minuteman bundles on our truck that I absolutely love, so much so that when we first started putting them on there, they needed instructors, and I was first one to jump in line to show people how to build this bundle and get it on the truck and deploy it correctly. And you know, you know how the fire service is. Everybody was just, it is so stupid. Why are we putting these stupid bundles on our truck? Now everybody loves them.
Yeah.
They're easy deployable. They're clean. They got three straps on them. They drop it back from the door and pull your nozzle and coupling with you, or drop it at the door and pull two loops back, and it's super fast. I do love a loose Minuteman, so our pump class, when we do our engine ops class, let's say our engine ops class, we break it up into three sections: tailboard, um, your driver operator, and your officer seat. So officer seat stuff, it's more lecture because it's kind of hard. Like we can do scenarios where I can be like, all right, I'm going to have people on these windows, and you know, it is what it is. That
It
just
can
comes from
you
experience.
can only make believe so much, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're real big on training scars, man. We create too many training scars in training. So a lot of the officer stuff is we'll listen to calls. We take calls that we've ran, and we pick apart our own stupidity on the radio and some decisions we made,
Sure.
and let
Sure.
them pick it apart. And so we just really talk about what it means to be an officer, how to look out for people, communication. I'm real big on whatever's on the MDT. I'm letting my tailboard driver know. Like,
Yeah.
why would I want to keep this information myself? They need to know too. And so the driver is more like positioning, catching a hydrant. We see a lot of people can't switch over from tank to pump to hydrant pressure without killing the guy on the nozzle. That goes back to being a working pump operator. You can't just open it up and let everything take care. Yeah, they relieve pressure, but they take anywhere from 4 to 7 seconds to equalize those
Yeah.
pressures, and those four to
Give
seven
it a
seconds
second.
feel like an eternity
Right.
on the end of that nozzle.
That's true.
Um, so, opening that thing slow, gating back on your line and watching your pressure, and then opening up as you're opening your intake in and switching over from tank to pump, and working that knob, and moving hose line. There's an easier way to move hose line. Uh, Kyle's got a great class on that, right? And smooth bore uh, stuff. Just different ways to move the hand line,
Mm-hmm.
and then your tailboard stuff is a lot of moving hand lines. But just talking to these guys and saying, "Hey, look, it's got a really good way for you to learn and get through the fire service your first 3 years, and it's super simple. Shut the fuck up."
Okay. Yeah. That's it.
When I say that, I don't mean keep your mouth shut. Ask questions,
Yeah. Be a
but ask
student.
them tactfully, ask them respectfully, ask them. Don't be the guy that you go on a call and you think you should have pulled a smooth bore, but your officer asked for a fog nozzle, and then you get back and you're going around telling everybody, Tep, he told me to pull that fog nozzle. We could have had it out 10 times faster if he'd have pulled that smooth bore. Well, there's a reason why he did it, because it was already burnt through the roof and in the attic. And if you'd have pulled the smooth bore, you'd have shot water right out that little hole that was already burnt up there. So he wanted it on a 30-degree pattern so that you open it up and put more fire out. And then when the fire's out, he wanted to open a window up and do some hydraulic ventilation, because it is by far the superior ventilation. So it's just things like that.
Well,
We
tell me
teach
how you
tail.
really feel. Oh, so you've always had water in your districts. That's interesting. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yes, I've been blessed with. So it's great, right? Because we have hydrants everywhere here. Um, but I've also drafted from a swimming pool and put a fire out on Thanksgiving Day from a mid mount freight liner, old farm truck.
Mm.
Drafted from the swimming pool in the backyard and hit it hard from the yard with the deck gun and put the majority of the fire out.
So what do you guys in your area? Are you slicers? What are you guys doing in your area as far as operationally? Anything that works or
Yeah,
what?
we don't use any of that stuff. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody in Georgia that does, like slicer, dicers, Rico,
Yeah.
or Rico VES, none of that. We're very plain English down here. Now, that being said, Blue Card is slowly creeping its stupid ass in here and trying to confuse people.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I don't hate blue card. I hate blue card. And what I mean by that is if people use it the way it's supposed to be used as a communication tool, I'm sure blue card would be great here. But people are bastardizing blue card and using it as a tactic tool, and it drives me crazy. On deck is not meant for you to sit there and watch somebody's shit burn until somebody else gets there and can relieve you from on deck. That
Right.
is not what blue card wants you to do. If there is a confirmed entrapment, blue card does not want you to sit on deck until somebody relieves you from on deck. We're not blue card. I don't know. I've never been through the course, but
I really,
I've
I'm kind of listening, and I really don't know a lot about it. To be honest with you,
it
I'm new to
I've
it.
got
So
I got a podcast I need to post with someone that has been in blue card for 20 years, but uh yeah, it's just one of those things. So the first unit on scene goes in command. That person is in command. The next unit on scene is what they call on deck.
mm,
And so on deck is basically a RIT team waiting for the next assignment. And when the next unit comes in, they go on deck and that unit can then go do an assignment. And it all depends on how that department uses it.
yeah,
Um, I'm a cone head. I saw a header. I chased it one day. I was first on scene. Good house fire. RV right next to the house caught on fire, extended into Division 2 and into the attic. Is everybody out? No, my stepdad's right down that bottom corner, Alpha Delta Division 1. First unit gets there. I tell the lieutenant on the engine, confirmed entrapment in that room right there. Okay, radios it. He's stretching lines. They're trying to get up there. Next unit comes in. They walk up and they lean on their hooks. Face pieces ain't on. Hoods ain't up. Like they ain't ready to go. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And he's kind of looked at me. You know, I'm in civilian clothes. I was like, bro, somebody's in that bedroom down there. Confirmed. I heard the guy put it on the radio. He said, we're on deck.
mm.
I said, you need to be on air getting this motherfucker out the house. And he was like, we're on deck. And I was like, at that point, I just had to turn around and I was like, I'm going to watch this man die.
yeah,
And I was ready to go up there myself. But luckily, the guy come walking out of the carport, 5 seconds after this, and we were like, "Hey, get down here! Everything's burning over your head." And he was kind of dazed and confused, but he lived. But the next unit got there, and then they started leaning on their hooks while this unit pulled a line to the exterior and started putting exterior fire out. And then another unit got there, and they sat on deck while this. And so that's what made me research it. Some departments do it that way, others don't. Um, Others will, if you get there and you're in command and somebody goes on deck and they hear entrapment, we need to search, you don't have to wait for somebody else to come on deck. You go.
yeah.
Like you get your ass in there and do what's right for the citizens.
Well, and I think that comes from like communication, and not just like unforeseen or uncommanded communication, where it's like I know if I am on deck and something goes down, I know this is the next steps I'm taking. Like everybody should know the next steps, and there's nothing that drives me more crazy when I'm gonna put a patient on a cot and I hold the buckle up, and the guy on the other side of the cot doesn't understand what I'm doing. Like I'm holding it for you to clip in to me so we can strap this dude down. Like you know what to do next, you're just not doing it. And so that's kind of that unforeseen communication that I think we're starting to lack because of all these policies that we're instituting, which is crazy to me.
Paralysis analysis.
100%.
But
100%.
yeah, so the to answer your question, Recio, VES, slicers, dicers, all that good
Yeah.
stuff. We're extremely plain English down here.
Yep.
We don't use 10 codes. We don't use verbiage.
Yep.
I pulled up right now to a two-story. Truck 23's on scene. I got a two-story split. I got heavy fire showing from the Alpha Delta corner. We're going to be down inching 7/8 blue line going in for interior attack. Next unit take command. Second in engine knows to get water supply. First truck knows to do a search unless we need ventilation first. And I mean, everybody it just
Clicks.
falls into place here.
Yeah.
It just clicks. We just train on it all the time.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's the way it should be. And you get
And it's
these
just
weird departments that have these weird things that you're like, what are you doing? I totally get what you're saying.
but it's just like we're talking right now is exactly how our radio.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Well, I can't say that though. Like, there's some folks that go a little too crazy with the communication, and you're like, all right, if you got fire, you got smoke. I don't need to hear both on your size up. Like, calm down. You know, I teach a fair amount of like, just be concise and clear and make it right. Like, people, they just go,
Short,
especially
sweet, and to the point.
Short, sweet, and to the point, exactly. And
some people, they like to be they'll try to be funny, I guess. And they'll be like, next engine in, catch my plug. We don't call them plugs. They're hydrants. Pop the top. No, we need vertical ventilation. Sometimes, we're engine 23, truck 23, truck 1, truck 2, truck 3. So every now and again, somebody try to be 23 truck. I'm like, bro, shut up, man. It's not what we do.
I think the number one class should be a communication class for damn sure. So, how long do your guys' in your area? How long do your guys' academies run?
Ooh, man, quite a while because everybody has to be an EMT, basic or up,
So,
to be in our fire department.
So before you do that, are you making them become that EMT before you hire them, or
no? So we will hire them, and like if you already have your EMT, like back when we were hired, we had 100 or 50 people. 50 people were hired, and all of us all had everything, and we still were there from August to December.
Wow.
Now I think basic. To get your EMT basic is 9 months, and then fire school is another 14 weeks. So I mean, they're in there for like 14 months now.
Yeah.
And to get your A is even longer. And we went back and forth. Like we've done classes with just basics, and then we've done advanced EMTs too. And those take longer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things. It's like, what do you do? Do you go longer and spend more money on these people? But then if they leave, you've wasted this money on them. So we just do basics. But ends up happening with that is as time goes on, we end up having an engine with 3 basics on it. They get to a med call before an ambulance. All they can do is take a blood pressure. Like if it's low blood sugar, they can't give D50 or D10. We do D10 now. They can't even give oral glucose.
That's crazy.
They can take a blood pressure, and that's about. They can't start an IV. And so they can go make a sandwich and hope that they can eat a sandwich and not choke. They can at least do CPR if they do. Heimlich.
Oh, wow.
So it's I don't know, it's a tough one,
Yeah.
but at least basic.
We don't hire our people on. We have medics, and we've got basics, and we let them be basics because we only run 2 on the ambulance. So we don't hire them on unless they're an EMT of some sort. So just because we're not doing the in-class stuff or in-house stuff. It's through a college, or we've got a couple of private agencies that do the EMT stuff. I don't even think they're offering the advanced anymore around here. I think it's only 2 of us left. Me and another guy in our departments. We've been here for been around over 20 years, and we don't even really offer it anymore. We don't even really offer the eye around for here. So I think it's because we're packed with medics pretty hard. So it's nice it sucks for that EMT because he's got to drive all the time, or it's good for him either way, him or her.
I'm good with that.
Me too.
I don't get on that. We don't have ambulances. AMR runs out.
And I basically hate you for that. No, we
did. So I was at Station 19 when we got rid of them, and 2014 I watched Rescue 19 roll out, and I was like,
Wow.
bye. And Rural Metro took over, and now AMR has it, but it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I was wondering if AMR is in your area for sure, but they're everywhere. But
Yep, and it shows.
that is one of the things. I mean, it helped us out because we didn't have the funding to hire people, so the ambulance. I was the first person to ever on our department transport a patient, and it had to be the worst patient ever. She cut her wrists and then decided to walk around the house and act like she was cleaning the house. So I had blood everywhere in the house. It was a crime scene. But and I was so damn nervous I couldn't get on the radio and do my radio report to the hospitals. I had to get on the phone. I was so nervous about it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But
I used to hate the
yeah,
radio report to the hospital.
they're the worst. And then they just make them worse and worse. Like, now I got to give you my name. Why do you need to know my name? They make us give the name, our name, what our rank is, whether an EMT or whatever. And then you got to give all this information when I could just tell you vitals are stable. We'll be there in 5 minutes. This person fainted a little. Now they want a full. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Mhm.
I
So
don't run an ambulance, so
well, like I said, we started it to get some funding around here so we could actually hire some firefighters. It worked out, and now we still have them, and I'd like to get rid of them, but you guys can have them if you want
I'm
them.
good.
We're good.
Nope. Yep. I don't think we can be friends anymore. No. So, well, that's good. It seems like you guys got a pretty rigorous. Now, do you guys do after your academy? New guy comes in. Is he obviously he's not hard boots on the ground, but you guys doing task books after that, or what's your checkoff? What's your candidate checkoff on that?
Yeah, so for our department, they do come out with a Proby task book,
Sure.
and they have to get so many medical stuff. They got to get some fire stuff, and they cannot be transferred or they can't go fill in or anything. So they are fourth on the engine, hard set rule for the first cycle. And then after that, we try really hard to make sure they don't get sent off. And so they have that tailboard with them at all times, teaching them, showing them the ins and outs of everything. And the task book really helps. We have a firefighter in our department who has developed a mentorship program for if you're a driver, operator, or below, you can be in this mentorship program. So when this new class comes out in a month or so, they will be assigned a mentor. And that's who it won't be the person at your station. You'll still have your station guy. You'll still do all that same stuff. But outside of that, your mentor is supposed to call and check on you for the first cycle after every shift. And if you have any questions, you can call, text your mentor, whatever you guys set up. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Even
We
this
have.
officer thing, me getting transferred and having a new officer under me. Um, I'm not happy about being transferred, but I'm not going to bitch and whine and complain about it either.
Sure.
I'm going to go there. Nothing's going to change. My morals, my ethics, my values, my standards, all that stuff's going to go with me. But it is better than just putting a brand new officer out there and say, here, figure this shit out.
Well, unfortunately, that happens all over the country, which is sad.
Well, my very first day here, we did have ambulances here when I started. And I got there at 6 o'clock. I'm like I get there an hour early and I'm sweeping and taking the trash out and I'm trying to impress everybody. And bell rings at 6:20 and my officer was already there and he looked at me and said, "That's you."
Hmm.
And I had to go scramble, get my stuff on the ambulance and sit in the driver's seat. And I have this medic get in. And the medic at the time I didn't know, but good friend of mine now, we call him Whispers because
Oh.
went on like this. So it's a cardiac arrest at a nursing home at 6:20 in the morning. It's in two territories over because everybody else is at the hospital. with a patient. I have no idea where I'm going. We didn't have iPhones back then. We had Garmin's that had just came out, and the Garmin's, you would be you'd be 2 streets ahead of where the dot showed you with the satellite stuff. It'd be like, turn left now. And you're like, where? The road's half a mile back there.
Yeah.
So, we were still keeping
U-turn.
MapQuest up at the station. When a call would come out, we'd type it in real quick and try to print it out so we'd at least have MapQuest. But had map books, atlases where it's you find your thing, page 136, and you got to find your land lot. You go, all right, L2. All right, there's L2 page. Flip over. All right, there's L2 page to this land
Yeah.
lot. There's my roads, and that's so I'm going to this call, and Whispers is over there. Just I missed the turn several times, couldn't hear them. It was a disaster. Um, and that was my introduction to the fire service, and
Man.
now that would never happen, right?
Right.
Or my introduction here at the county I'm in now. Now that would never happen. Like, you send somebody else, you bring the brand new guy in, it's first day, their first day, and you show them the ropes. If they go on a call, they're with somebody. You're going to be in that hip pocket kind of thing. So
That's good. Yeah.
it's
So
it's a good.
we implemented kind of the same thing in FTO program, which has been working pretty well. The only problem with it is like would be nice to have that mentorship where it's that one person. Unfortunately, it ends up falling on a couple of different people to be that FTO for that new guy. But yeah, I totally that'd be good. So that's nice to hear. Um, well,
Do
okay.
the wildland stuff, right?
Mm, yeah. Where are
Ugh.
you at? Where are you guys at? You don't do wildland? No, nothing.
No, Georgia. So Georgia Forestry does all of Georgia Forestry Commission. They do a lot of back burns and stuff like that. But two, we don't have old timber.
Right.
Um, all of our stuff out here is new because Georgia Pacific and Weyerhaeuser, Louisiana Pacific has all came in and bought up all the dang land,
Mm-hmm.
and 90% of our trees are pine trees, and we call them racer pines because they plant them 8 feet apart, and
Uh,
they have to grow and race to get sunlight.
uh,
They only have branches anywhere but at the top. But yeah, it. No, I mean, get some wildland stuff here and there in North Georgia,
yeah. Well,
mountains sometime. But
in our area, it's a season. Like and it lasts about 8 months or so. So yeah, and it's ever since like
that's
you
not a
don't.
season. You have a. That's,
Well, we have two seasons. We got summer and winter. So, um, which didn't always be that way, but yeah,
I've got a
it's
buddy in Moab, and he's they do a lot of wildland.
yeah, yeah, they do, and we do a lot of it up here. We're more like I think a lot of our folks get into the service just to do wildland. Because we got some hard nosed wildland people, and they're smart dudes, but I couldn't do. I mean, I'm a strike team task force leader, but I couldn't really just dedicate my entire life to wildland. And I'm a woods guy. I mean, I love. I mean, I'm going to the top of the mountain. I live next to Glacier Park, so um, I mean, I'm a mountain guy, so I'm hunting elk every season. So, but I don't care to have soot up to my thighs under my clothes, and it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare, and we spend way too much
All I
money
can
on
think
wildland.
about. I remember in the early 2000s, fire school, and we were doing wildland. We had to have a fire flap going down
Oh
there.
yeah, oh yeah, I know that. I still got one.
Yep.
I still have one.
An Indian pack, and a fire flap, which I don't
Yep.
think we can call it that anymore. But
Well, it says Indian on the back. I'll say whatever it is.
okay,
It's funny. We just went up to our old North Station just the other day. We got a 1970 Dodge 5500 that one of our first wildland engines that we bought. Not first, but anyway, loved it. Clutch. It's got the pump on it. It's amazing. It used to be. I miss that truck, because we fought a lot of fire in that truck, but yeah, not anymore. Not with that truck. Now it's all mode preset with everything else. So
Which is why I'm glad we still have TPMs here.
right.
I do like making young kids work and setting that and moving, turning, cranking it.
And learn it. They got to learn it. That's the thing. And I think we're teaching the levers. We're not teaching the reason why I'm getting water out of this or that or what I need to be at. We're teaching that we're, engaging the pump, tank to pump, hook a hydrant. We're just
You're a fucking animal, Chief.
Yeah.
What an
Oh
idiot.
shit.
I'm sorry. It's
I don't even know where that video was made, but I did do a TikTok on it. So
Yeah, I did too.
mm-hmm.
I forget where it is, but he's known in that area as being Shit Show Express.
We've got a couple of them around here for sure. I think everybody's got them in their area, some weirdo.
I love that mustache and that mullet and this.
Oh
like
boy,
that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
is there
is there anything else that you can think of that would be that you want to tell us, sir? Anything you want to come clean about?
No, there's not really anything I want to come clean about. I'll keep a few demons hid for future stuff. Can't let too much out too soon. No, but I do like pineapple on my pizza. It's good.
Okay. You're different.
We have to. I think. All right, so I think a lot of guys in the fire service, if we had to get down and break it down to a political side of things, I would say a majority of the people in the fire service are probably more right leaning, right? Like you're hell yeah, America, guns, God, glory kind of people, right? And usually alpha males that are that type think that if you talk about your feelings or feeling a certain way, you're automatically a snowflake, you're a pussy. And I can promise you one thing right now is that I can see a call that can affect me and make me feel a certain type of way. And that's okay. There's stuff that can happen in the station. I can just be having a bad day. It's okay. Talking about it or having emotions about it doesn't mean I have to like sit down and write a book on it or oh gosh, you know I need a therapy session right this second because we had a cardiac arrest. There are times where you have to suck things up, finish your shift out, and then seek help. Like then go see about it, right? So there's a level of suck it up, buttercup, and seek it. But I can have all those things, and I promise you, I'm not a pussy. And we can prove that in several different ways. I have no problems if you want to sign a waiver and put on some 4-ounce gloves and hop behind a chain link fence with me in the shape of an octagon or just a training facility. We can do that. And
Speaking my language.
There's a lot of guys that'll beat my ass, but I promise you, I'm going to grind, and you're going to know I'm there. I like to scrap. I like to get down and have a good time and used to like a good barroom fight. I don't know more. I do like to go to my MMA gym and help the young guys get ready and train. And I love to get hit. I like to hit. I like jiu-jitsu is great. I love it, but the wrestling and the scrambles in jiu-jitsu is what I like the best. I like to make people work. And I can do all that and still be tough. So you don't. It's not one way or another. Like you don't have to be a crybaby, hug a tree, sissy to have your feelings, and you can't defend yourself. Then You don't have to be this tough guy that can't talk about your feelings. There's a good balance between it.
Sure.
And you don't know what anybody's been through. You don't know what people have been through in their lives, and to treat them a certain type of way, or to uh, think that they grew up just like you, so you had the same expectations of them as you do yourself without learning them. We're hurting each other that way, man. We make people feel bad about living a certain type of way, and then so maybe they don't want to tell you. Quit tearing each other down. When somebody wants to do something good in your department, they want to build a class, or they want to do something, quit trying to tear them down because you don't want them to look good,
Right.
because then it doesn't make you look good.
Yep.
It's bullshit, man. It is. The crabs in the bucket thing in the fire service is such bullshit. You jealous, selfish piece of shit. Shut the fuck up. And if you shit or get off the pot, if they're working hard to make stuff better, how dare you make up rumors and talk shit about them and shit behind their back to try to tear them down, man? It drives me nuts. Everybody, FDIC, 35,000 people there, firefighters there this year. Everybody, brother, 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 brother. And you really do feel the brotherhood up there. But how many of those people actually live out the brotherhood at their department, their station,
That's
their
a good point.
battalion?
It's a good point.
And, so many people online, the brotherhood's dead. It ain't like it used to be. Da 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 da. Yeah, it's not like it used to be for several reasons, right? One, they used to actually like each other and hang out together, and their families would have barbecues on the weekend. Two, more women work now than they used to, so the home dynamics are different. So a lot more dads are taking care of the kids and soccer games and stuff like that than they used to. I get it,
Yeah.
but you got to make time for each other. But God Almighty, the tearing. I love social media, but I fucking hate it. Like, you put a post of somebody doing something good, like throwing a ladder, and they did such a good job. But there's little things that they could have fixed on the training ground. But
Yeah.
we're talking about, this is our war. The shit's burning. They're moving fast. Or deploying a hose line and the nozzle drops and maybe drags the ground for 3 feet. Oh, I can't believe you let that nozzle drag the ground. You're a piece of shit. Oh, you need to train. Bro, the shit is burning.
Yeah.
They're trying to move with purpose. Do you really care about a nozzle dragging the ground 3 feet when you're moving with a purpose? Oh, he's on the roof and he only cut a 3x5. We cut a 4x7 to where I'm from. They suck. They need to train more. Shut the fuck up. Bro, they're doing a damn good job. It's just different. It's different. Like,
Yeah.
man, we just tear each other down online and in person. Well, not in person, because then there'd be a lot more mouths being shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's behind backs, right? And so, man, that's all. I can get on a whole soapbox about
No.
that. And I get that's my niche now.
Yep.
Just that whole thing, the brotherhood thing, man. It's there, and I'm so tired of people saying it's not there anymore when you're not doing
Yeah.
anything to fix
Yeah.
it.
I
You're not.
feel like you're talking
Stop.
right. I feel like you're talking to me and preaching at me, and fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, here in the South, we got old Southern Baptist preachers, right? And I had one time. The old guy told him that. He said, "Well, I tell you what, boy, my daddy always said when the creek floods, the trash will rise up to the banks. You must be the trash rising to the bank if I'm talking to you." And I was like, where do y'all come up with these sayings? I shit you not. Are you shitting me? I shit you not. What?
Yeah.
That's so true.
Oh God.
You sound like my dad.
Yeah. Or my wife, well, if the damn shoe fits,
Yeah.
are
Or
you
So
bless your heart.
bless your
well,
heart.
if the damn shoe fits, put that motherfucker on, lace it up, and get to jogging.
Um.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you got anything there, Mac Daddy?
No, I mean, you know, I could poke the bear because I do know Peyton. Very blessed to know him, but I could poke the bear and ask him how he feels about the safety culture in the fire department,
Oh boy.
and he might explode. But no, I've learned a lot from him, and the safety culture thing has just been a kind of a sore spot for a lot of guys. And if you want to wrap it up with that, your little insights on some of the safety culture and how it's really damaging a lot of departments, um, just from a standpoint of going away from, and I think I've said this to both you before, in that I think where some of the safety culture comes from is from so many fire departments integrating EMS and the whole scene safe, PPE scene safe going into the fire service from a med unit standpoint. And I think that's where we've kind of lost our way with safety culture, because it's, oh, well, the scene's not safe. Motherfucker, it's a fire. Nothing's safe about it. So you want to kind of finish up with some of your views on the safety culture? I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So for me, it blows my mind that we even have to have this discussion. Like, it does not compute in my head. Numbers do not compute. It just doesn't make sense. Kids, right? We all got kids, and and they were younger, and they see some a heater, little red glowing thing. They're like, I wouldn't do that. Don't do that. And they damn touch it. Ah, well, you learned your damn lesson. Um, I just feel like it should be like that with firemen. Like, I don't understand why I have to tell you not to touch the fucking hot thing. Like, I don't understand why I have to tell you their safety comes before ours. It's where did we lose this translation of the oath that we took? Now, I'm not saying we need to be uh, Hitler and throw people's lives at this cause that we believe in and just take lives for it. But we did sign up. We did take an oath. Nobody came, and we were not in the draft. So we weren't drafted. We voluntarily signed up to do this job, and we made a promise to the citizens that we serve, and I will uphold that promise no matter what. I have a wife and kids that I desperately want to see tomorrow morning when I get off at 7 a.m. and go home. But if there is a structure fire and somebody tells me there's a vagrant in there and he's a crackhead, and people say his life doesn't matter, um, it matters. It matters, because what if us going in and finding that guy and bringing him out's the change in his life that he needed? Uh, what if he just needed somebody to care for him a little bit, and that was it? And maybe not. We see the cold storage fire, and I'm not even going to butcher the name of Worcester fire.
What's your sister?
Right, right, and we seen that some vagrants in there doing drugs, then went to a hotel down the street, and they didn't even care. People were like, why would you risk your life for those people? Because that's the promise I made, and I don't break my promise. Where I think we've gone wrong with the safety culture is that I had a mentor of mine that retired as a deputy chief last year. Uh, Smart guy, love him to death, but he said, Peyton, when people tell me they want to come to headquarters, I'm always weary of those people. Those are the people that scare me, that I don't want up here. It's the people that are willing to come to headquarters, and we say, hey, we need a spot. I think you'd be great for it. And they go, I really don't want to get off a truck, but I'm willing to come up there if that's what's the best for the department. Those are the people we want. It's the people that want to go to headquarters, that rushed through and did every promotional test dead up on time, and they were so focused on trying to do that they didn't see the brotherhood or structure fires or any of that stuff. They get up there now, they're the ones making the decisions. Well, they don't know how to make the right decision. They know their job's in jeopardy if a firefighter gets seriously hurt or killed. And so, in order to prevent that from happening and losing their job and protecting themselves because they're not educated, they don't know what to do, they go to this safety culture bullshit to protect their jobs
Yeah.
because they're selfish and they care more about them. That's where I think most of it comes from is
Yeah.
uneducated. Because a aggressive firefighter, people, you're too aggressive. Well, what? Apparently, you don't understand what the definition of an aggressive firefighter is.
Right.
I could take a brute that's dumb as a sack of rocks and teach them how to kick door in, pull hose, squirt water. That's not aggression. That's just you got me to the fire. An aggressive firefighter is smart. An aggressive firefighter is reading the fire, the smoke, the conditions every 10 to 15 seconds while still doing other things. That you're constantly reading what's going on and you're changing your tactics if needed. You're not getting tunnel vision in on just got to go through the front door and do this. It's the only way I know. It's you've got to be smarter in that. So aggressive is, you know, doing that quick 360. Um, yes, you need to walk around, but it doesn't have to take more than 20, 30 seconds to get around the structure. I get it, bigger stuff, all that good stuff. We're just talking about your normal bread and butter fire.
Yeah.
Do your 360, look, get back around, read conditions, constantly reread conditions. If something don't feel right, listen to your gut. But aggressive is learning, watching YouTube videos of structure fires. That's not dumb. We know the psychology of decision making is seeing something over and over and over to fill in the gaps in your memory. I've seen that before, and this is what they did to resolve the problem. Watching videos is okay to fill those gaps in.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Don't say, "Oh, you're just a YouTube fireman." It's knowledge. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Um, Watch size up videos, watch smoke condition videos, watch smoke reading videos, watch tactic videos. Like, watch this stuff and fill those gaps in. That's aggressive to me. Um, Training every day, train in your fucking gear. Put the shit on and train in your fucking gear. My God. I get the whole PFAB thing. I don't want you to get cancer. But to be aggressive, you have to be comfortable in your gear. If you never wear a suit and tie ever, and dress shoes and dress socks, and you put a suit on with a button up shirt to here and a tie on, you go to church, you cannot wait to get home and take that off, right? You're so uncomfortable. But guys that wear a suit and tie to work every single day, it doesn't bother them. Why? They're comfortable in it. We have to be that comfortable in our turnout gear. To be aggressive, if you're not comfortable wearing that gear and moving in it and the dexterity of it, lose 30% dexterity in your hand as soon as you put gloves on. If you're not used to that, you can't be aggressive.
Right.
So you default to hiding. I'll just go over here in the corner and let these jakes do it, and I'll just be in here and act like I'm doing something. Um, be comfortable in your gear. Be comfortable in an air pack. Be comfortable breathing compressed air through a high pressure hose that's going to a regulator that's then going to a low pressure hose that's then going to a second regulator. Um, you have to be comfortable doing this. That is aggressive. Being comfortable in your gear is aggressive. Being able to do things without looking at it is aggressive. Like if I can't close my eyes and take a hose line and open the nozzle or do this and take it off and put it back on or take an air pack and change a bottle out with my eyes closed and gloves on, that's aggressive being able to do those things. So I think people have just lacked those doing those skills, the blue collarness of this job. um, there's nothing wrong with the white collar side of it. It's not for me. I do have an associate's in fire science. That's as far as I'm going with it.
Yeah.
If you want to go further, cool. If you want to go to the National Fire Academy and get your EFO, GFO, GMCBA, cool. I'm happy for you.
Get a bunch of letters. Go for it.
That shit's just not for me, right? I'm gonna stick with the blue collar side of it. I thoroughly enjoyed my associate's degree. It was great. Taught me some things about leadership and tactics and some stuff that I changed. But um, we have to accept that the blue collar and white collar side are different. The problem is the blue collar side thinks the white collar side's dumb and vice versa.
Sure.
And white collar side is the ones that's going to make the decisions about the way we do things and tactics. And if they don't understand the blue collar side, then guess what? Safety culture. So blue
100%.
collar guys, you got to promote to be able to dang make the decisions of how your department's going to do stuff. Get the fuck off a truck, promote up. But yeah, that for me, that's safety culture is bullshit. It's people that rush through the ranks, didn't do the blue collar side, and they're scared to make a decision because they're protecting their pension.
I do think a lot of it comes from that. What you're saying is point on. I do think that I think we've lost. I think our work ethic and our ability to become sort of students of our job. And like you're saying, an aggressive fire is a smart firefighter, right? Or aggressive firefighter is a smart fire. I think that's a fantastic thought process. I think we've lost that in the fire service a lot because we send these guys through the academy. They learn the IFSTA manual. I don't know. What are you guys using for manuals out there?
We're back to ISTA here.
I fucking hate IFSTA. Anyway, don't get me started on IFSTA. But it just teaches you how to pass a test, or whatever. And there's a ton of knowledge in it. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of it's over and above what a firefighter really needs. It's like when you go through the EMT course and they're teaching you all the parts of the eye. You don't fucking need to know that. Like, you can learn that elsewhere. You don't have to. You're not becoming a doctor. I don't. There's something in the eye. Treat that. But I think there becomes this. Like I remember when I joined, I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know every piece of that truck, what was on it. I was in every compartment, pulling all the equipment out, firing chainsaws, firing a case off. I was in it. I wanted to know everything. I think we've lost that. I think folks are coming in and they're like, well, they're just going to tell me what to do. I didn't have that when I joined. I don't know how you guys, when you joined, if you had that, somebody just like hard nosed, like you have to know this. We've kind of lost that, I think, and it becomes. So what ends up happening on the white collar side, as you're saying, is we see these. When I have a 2-year firefighter that's been through the academy, and he can't tell me what pyrolysis means or what, how to read smoke, I'm like, okay, maybe we need to sort of instill a safety culture and get this back in the people and make sure they know it before they actually. So I see where you're coming from, but I think that comes, unfortunately, I think that comes from within that firefighter. And I think you're right. I think we've lost it. That was my 2 cents. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I want my firefighters to know a 24-foot extension ladder. How many rungs does it have? How many clicks does it take to fully extend? If you don't know how many clicks it takes to fully extend, are you just pulling and looking? Like,
Right.
if you're holding a ladder by yourself and you're looking up, where's the ladder want to go? It's wanting to go where your eyes are. Your weight gets shifted. You're going to drop the ladder. Learn to count clicks.
Yeah.
All right, we know 11 click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Cool, fully extended. Boom, bam. I
I
don't
was
care
gonna
about no
I was gonna say
70
11,
angle.
but
Um,
no, that's
yeah, just
smart. That's
stuff like
smart
that.
thinking. That's smart thinking. It's like military people pulling their pistol apart and putting it back together. It's the same thing. We have to learn that. There's little things, and that's actually super smart to learn how many clicks it takes to do whatever it takes. Or
Yeah, officers, they need to know how many shots before their magazine's empty,
yeah,
right?
they
They're not
never
just
do.
pulling until they hit click, 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 then drop. Like they know,
Mm-hmm.
once they get right there at that number, all right, I need to go ahead and I'm gonna fire this last one. I'm already reaching for my magazine as that last one's firing. I'm dropping, just putting bam, boom, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
That's how you save your life.
yeah. It's no, it's a fantastic thoughts.
Dude, cops.
Stupid cops. Um, well, shall we wrap it up? What do you think? Any last thoughts here? I mean, we've been going for
Man,
2 hours, and I think we've learned a
yeah,
ton.
I love the fire service. I love everything about this stuff. I could go on and talk about everything. I know, everybody has their niches, and like I said, I've had several, so I could dive into extrication or ladders or truck work. I'm not an engine dude, but I can hang right there with you, and we're talking about PSIs and pumping and friction loss and all that good stuff. So I could go on and on and on about this stuff. I just absolutely love it.
Sure.
I made up with it. I'm 44 years old. I'm just a big kid and completely ate up with this job still, and it's amazing. Especially if you know my story, and uh, if you guys want to get some shows out there and have me back on, we can just talk about that one day, and I can just do the story.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we'd love to have you on for sure. Again,
It's
and that was the other thing I was going to have you plug here. You also have a podcast.
so I
How
have
long?
a little
Yeah,
podcast. I'm trying my best to get. I've got content, like I've got shows just ready to be put out. It's just sitting down and putting them out. And I got to do something better than, I don't want to talk about the platform I use to put it out there, but it's if you were beside a body of flowing water, um, it just it's slow, man. I don't know. It's called Riverside. I don't care. What are they gonna
oh,
sue me? Um,
okay,
it's just um, yeah, it was great when I first started, but now it just doesn't work for me. And it,
sure.
it takes so long to edit a show on there. By the time I get on there and do everything with it, it's like 2 hours for to edit one little hour show. And I've talked to Danny B on Student of the Game podcast. He had me on his, and I've actually done one with Danny B on ours. And I'm like, bro, how are you cranking out a show every 3 days? He's just got it down pat, man. Like he just does.
Well, and when they get good at these podcasts, they end up and they make a little money. They end up paying somebody to edit them, which is that
Maybe
would be
that's what I
nice,
need.
right?
Yeah.
I
Well, yeah, I got two buddies, I guess, Relentless Rejects and Tailboard Misfits. They both have a podcast, and National Fire Radio picked them up. So they just do their show and send to them, and they do the editing. And great shows, great guys. Love
yeah,
them. Go check those podcasts out as
heck
well.
yeah,
Um, Danny B's Student of the Game is a great, great podcast. My podcast is called Heavy Smoke Showing. No G, because we ain't showing, we're showing. Uh, and originally it was just for the people in my department. So maybe my first 5 or 6 episodes are just people in my department, and then
Mhm.
we kind of branched out from there. And people wanted to get some stuff off their chest, but they didn't want to be rude
Yeah,
about it. They didn't want to bash the department, and I didn't want them to. I love my departments. Do we have our flaws? Sure, we
hmm
do. Are there things I gripe about? Yes, but at the end of the day, it's a wonderful, wonderful department, and we have a lot of our shit together. And but people just wanted to kind of get some stuff off their chest. So we ask questions like we ask kind of the same 5 questions. The first one's always, what do you think we're doing right? Or what do you think the number one problem in the fire service is? And then from there, we always want to end it on something positive. What do you think we're doing right now more than ever? And
yeah. Sounds like a
I
good
kind of hear the
review.
same answers. That first one can kind of change a little bit, but that second one is pretty consistently one of two things, about 80-20. 80% of the time it's mental health. We're doing better in mental health than we ever have. And the other 20% is training. Like we can go to a conference just about anywhere and learn something
Hmm
any given time. And I know 20 years ago, man, you had to wait for Joey D or FDIC.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Or maybe a fool's thing here or there, but now you can go to a conference anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's something. Well, that's good. I guess we'll wrap her up. Anything else, Mac Daddy?
No, I think that's it, man. Really appreciate you coming on with us too, though, and taking time out of your day to spend time with us and share your knowledge and information. We definitely are going to want to have you back on at another date. So,
Yeah. I got a lot more questions for you for sure. I mean, once I
Yeah.
told John, I was like, hey, I'm going to kind of not learn about him. I'm not going to go on Facebook and learn about you and learn all this stuff. I'm not going to do that because I kind of want this. I want to learn from your mouth versus some guy posting memes. So, so yeah, I think it's a little better to actually get to know you better this way. But yeah, definitely huge. I didn't know that we were going to when we decided to do this, bring on heavy hitters like yourself. But I guess that's
I'm
what we're
definitely not
doing. I mean, famous guy. So, Bob, huge thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you.
Yeah,
And I
I
will
appreciate you guys. I wish that we did TikTok better. We do have a TikTok page.
do you.
We do have Metro Atlanta Fools has a TikTok page. Um, I don't understand the algorithm there yet. I don't have time to learn it yet.
I don't either.
The Instagram's kind of our big platform.
Yeah.
It's the easiest. And Metro Atlanta Fools. We got Brothers Serving Brothers, Metro Atlanta Fools. My own personal page, S. Payton Owens, and then our training page of Old School Fire Tactics. So running 4 Instagram pages is a lot of damn work.
For sure.
Facebook, we're on there. Metro Atlanta Fools, Brothers Serving Brothers. That's about it. Yeah.
And like I say, I'll
Thank
put
you,
all
guys.
that stuff in the comments for sure, and I really appreciate it. So,
Yeah.
well, I
Go
hope.
donate to Brothers Serving Brothers.
Hell yeah,
It,
I plan on it for
I
sure.
promise you get a tax receipt. It is you'll get a real tax receipt that you can give to your accountant.
Yes.
And that money, I don't know if y'all know how tax receipts work, but the government wants you to pay a certain amount of money every year.
right.
The
If you don't
government.
get to that certain amount of money, you owe money. So
Yeah.
you can use a tax receipt to get to that certain amount of money and
Now, is
not
it a
give it to
real
the
tax
government.
receipt
Yeah.
or?
You can give it to us that goes to something good instead of the government that goes to some bullshit
Yeah.
Oh,
There you
and
go.
get to that same level. And if you already met that and then you write us a donation and you get a tax receipt, you go over what you owed. So then they give you some money back. It's a win-win.
And that is
there you
taxes
go.
in itself. That was perfect. We're learning so
Super
much
easy.
on this podcast for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope you have
All right.
I
slow.
am not a legal tax accountant. Please do not take my advice or anything for any other legal decisions. Thank you.
You had that ready in the
Oh,
pocket.
shit.
Damn.
Oh,
Well, I
So
hope you have a slow shift. Actually, there's 2 things I hope you have. I hope you should have a slow shift, nothing happens, or you lay down, tones pop, and you get a shit burrito later. Just saying. You guys run
I'm
medical,
good
right?
with it either way.
No, I hope you have a slow shift. I
I'm going to
appreciate
be
you.
nice and kind. Have a quiet night.
Oh shit.
I like to tell people all the time. I hope you run all the fires and no med calls.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Y'all,
Thank you, man.
Have a good evening.
y'all too.
All right, man.
See you.
Talk to you.